Hello, I have Dale, Brendan, Hyde with me. Hi, Dale, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hiya Donna. It's nice to speak to you again. My name is Dale Brendan Hyde. I'm a crime fiction writer. I write crime autobiographical. I write poetry, short stories, self-help books. Done a couple of sort of biographies that have not been published yet, but the manuscripts are written. Crime again. And I'm just working on a short story, which is like a screenplay style. It's like a phone conversation. And then I've got another novel that I wrote about 3 years ago that is about halfway done that I'm sort of back working on now. So that's what I'm up to.
Fabulous. And we are here to talk about Stitched.
Yeah, Stitched.
Do you have a copy to hand, actually,
to
show off?
Yeah.
Well organised, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I've got one here. I was just flicking through it then before you. That's the back of it. The foreword of it is written by, he's a reformed gangster now, but he's very well documented. Stephen French called him the devil. He were a big sort of taxer of drug dealers in Liverpool in the 80s and 90s. But he's a lot more than that. He's like world champion kickboxer, and he's like a anti-gun knife campaigner. He speaks in universities. He's got documentaries with he's got millions and millions of views on sort of like high-profile documentaries online and TV, and he's on Netflix with stuff. And his book called The Devil was written by I always forget like stuff like this when I'm just about to say it. Graham Johnson, who's like he's a award-winning journalist. The Devil was a massive selling book. His autobiography. So it was nice for Stephen to sort of he did it to give me some backup, because the subject, as you've read, is about rape and like being falsely accused of rape. So Stephen had like trouble when he was, he had similar trouble with certain different things. So he knew what it was like, and he just wanted to give me some clout, really, like on the front of the book, put something out there, as if, to say, especially like I said, because most of my background and my readers that are following me are like crime. So it's helped like having somebody like that on the front. Whereas on my other crime fiction books, I have like more just like crime writers like quoting me stuff. Yeah.
And obviously the difference with this is it's true and it's your story. So
yeah. I think like you've read the Ink Run. So I think like when I read the Ink Run was my debut crime fiction. I think when people have read the Ink Run and then when they've read Stitched, when I say to them that I think in a way I was probably trying to write Stitched when I was writing the Ink Run, but it was too painful to do it, and it become a fictional book. So it's all, instead of the prison, it's asylum. The revenge sort of stuff at the end is like, obviously how I felt when I'm going back years. Like I said, over time things have mellowed to the point of like not forgiveness. All these people that like will say, you need to forgive. There's some things that can't be forgiven. I kind of forget most of the time about it. That's about the level I go with something where someone's accused you of something like rape and it's been a miscarriage of justice and it's caused you so much trouble. This has gone on for like I've documented in the book, it's gone on for over 25 years. Not, the prison time were one thing, but the most of the problems have been when you've been released and the readjustments back into society and the stigma that's come with a word. And that's why I wrote the book in the end, because I was that sick of sort of people who using it against me as a weapon. It was like they couldn't find any like chink in my armor, and that's the only thing anybody can sort of like push my button about. So it was, I'd not only gone through it in the first place, I was getting it thrown back at me to be used against me, to try to hurt me or to try to diminish me or to try to slander me or to try to, just like dirty my name, dirty my character, ruin my reputation. People have tried to ruin my writing career through it. I've been through all these things with it, and it's so I thought, right, I'm going to put it out. I'm going to, like I said, it's not just written like this happened to me, I'm Dale, and this happened to me. It's documented all the way through it with like the court papers and the royal court papers, and the biggest judges in the country let me free. You know, Lord Stoughton, Sir William Macpherson, who did the Stephen Lawrence case. You know, the Stephen who got stabbed and murdered. You know, that judge wrote like the paper on that, which is one of the most like high profile like court documents that exists. It's, you know, it's one of the most important court documents. So they weren't just like Wally's that sort of let me out. You know, it wasn't like some people, you know, they think, oh, you might have got out on some technicality. It was nothing like that at all. I should have got out at Crown Court. I shouldn't have even gone to Crown Court. I shouldn't even have left the police station. It shouldn't have gone anywhere, this case, when you break it down and when you hear what's gone on. This isn't just one of these, did you rape somebody or didn't you rape somebody, or is there some sort of grey area? This is nothing at all like that. This is a proper miscarriage of justice where a monkey should have been able to get you out of this, and somehow it all went wrong. And I'll put my faith in the system, and the system let me down, and it just, you know, chilled me up and spat me out, basically. And it, like I said, I felt it was important to put this book out there. You know, I've had people who've reviewed it and said it's a brave book to write, and you know, it was difficult to write it. You know what I mean? It wasn't easy to go. You know, I've talked about it over the years in portions, and you just, when you've had enough, you go, look, I don't want to speak about this anymore, and I kind of shut down and change the subject. Like, right, you know, I can totally like shut a door on it. But when it comes like anybody, you know, like say when you're researching and you're writing a book and you're totally in the moment, and you've got to stay in that moment for. It took me a year to do it. I wrote it on the first lockdown. So it was difficult, you know what I mean? You know, going back to bed, you know, bringing out all sorts of emotions and, you know, dragging up all sorts of things that I thought I'd dealt with, but you only kind of put a lid on them. The lid's bubbling away. It's not exactly secure in that sense, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, you've just read it like this today, I think, or yesterday and today. What's your initial reaction from it, first of all?
There's a few things that struck me. Firstly, you were very young when this all kicked off, and the fact that it's still impacting you now is just shocking. Then there's the court case and the absolute shocking handling of that. Like you say, it shouldn't have ever got as far as it did. No. And, you know, you mentioned your co-accused and the secret, but I don't even think that was relevant, really. It was it wasn't. That they didn't have any evidence from her, and, you know, so it shouldn't have ever, you know, that I don't understand how they couldn't see that, and even the jury. But that's
when it happened on her, like the jury, for me, like maybe I were reading into the jury's body language a little bit, but you're desperate for some sort of sign of like anybody, like, are you taking this in? Are you taking in this? It was like being in some kind of, watching some kind of play. But I kind of felt out of body. At times I thought, I had to kind of remind myself, like, shit, this is happening to me right now. You know, this is like, you know, it'd have been interesting to watch from an outsider's point of view, but this was my life at 20 years old, and it was, you know, 19, 20. You know, to get, you know, I got like 8 years in prison for some 3 months, you know, like I said, you know, like there's things in it like where we, you know, I tried to escape the Crown Court, you know, and then because of that action, you know, it wasn't just like starting a prison sentence, as if it wasn't bad enough starting a prison sentence for something you've not done. Mm-hmm. Also, with that charge going into prison, I'm pretty sure anybody watching this can understand, if you walked into prison with that charge, you're not exactly flavoured at month. So you've got that to deal with the stigma of it already. Like I said, it's not just somebody online saying, oh, you're this. People in there might want to kill you, stab you, shoot, you know, throw hot water on your face. You know, you're going to get a lot of abuse in that sense with things, so that doesn't help. But it would also starting the sentence on the escapee list. So you're totally locked down. You've got no visits. You've got no phone calls. You've got like a dog that takes you everywhere. You're on like Cat A. With all the sort of, you know, you really like think, shit, all of a sudden I've gone from laid in my bed and it was Saturday morning, Sunday morning, to I'm like, this 13-month remand that's been crazy. I expected that were bad enough, but I expected to go home after the trial to go wrong and the jury to go, you're guilty, and think, how have you found me guilty with what you've just heard? I have no idea. And then all of a sudden you're like in the big boy prisons, you're in, and you're with like people who you've just thought you only have read about maybe in newspapers, on TV. You know, you can be going for your cup of tea and there's so-and-so there, and you think, shit, that's, you know, he's killed like loads of people. He's killed loads of people. He's like chopped somebody's bleeding head off. He's like blown somebody up. You're like with these people. And you're just a young boy, you know, really, just a boy. Like I said, if it happened now, I don't know, like if the, you know, I don't think I'd allow him to, it wasn't that I allowed him to do it to me, but at that age, I kind of just felt I was trapped and I just had to go along with it. Whether I'd be able to, you know, I don't know, they'd have to nail me to the floor to stop me just saying, listen, this is bullshit, I'm going home. I'm walking out of here, mate. You're not going to stop me. I'm going home. I'm not playing this game, you know. But obviously, like I said, when you're 20 years old and you're dealing with things like this, it's an heavy burden on your shoulder. You know, the world feels like it's on your shoulders at that point, you know.
Well, you're at the mercy of so many people, and at every point those people let you down, which, you know, at every point, not just one or two, but, you know, the lawyers, the judge that summed up the case, the prison, except for the odd person here and there, everyone just took that guilty verdict and then treated you accordingly as they would, I guess. But
yeah, this is it.
And you were 20, you know, and
20, that's what I mean.
We think that we're grown up and we're not, are we? So
you've only just sort of left school, you know, like say, only got to go like 3-4 years back. You're still in high school, you know, you're just a kid, you know, you're a young man maybe, do you know what I mean? But you know, like I said, luckily, and this is the only thing where I'd ever say like it's a positive to have been in prison, but I'd been in prison before for robbing, so that was the only saving grace, that I knew the ropes of prison. I knew some people in prison. When I like first got back remanded, the first few people I saw were like, oh, I can't believe you're back in here, Dale. And I was like, I know. And they were like, I can't believe you're back in here for like robbing and stuff still. And I'm like, it's not for robberies, it's for rape. And they were like, no fucking way. Sorry for swearing. But they were like, no, you know, they were like, no chance. And I'm like, I'm telling you. And I'd show like, once I sort of like got some of the paperwork and some of the stuff that had been said in the interviews, and people reading some of the stuff, even screws in prison will reading it saying, what's going on with you? What's going on with this? Like, why are you even here? What are they doing? Everybody will say, obviously you got like the sadistic types that love it and can feel that you're trapped and it's their chance to bully you and abuse you, you know, but you're going to get that in, you know, but like I said, it's magnified, you know, you're going to get that in any type of maybe work, but when you're like in a cell as a young lad and you're in for a rape charge and you've got screws that have been like 30-40 years and they're pissed off, you know what I mean, and they don't want to be there anymore, and they just take their, you know, they're having a bad day, you're getting it took out on you. And unfortunately, you know, so that again, it has that effect again. You think, Jesus Christ, I'm already sat in a cell and I shouldn't be sat in a cell, and now I'm getting fucking shit from, you know, people that are supposed to be here to guard me. You're getting that, then you've got the other prisoners, like I said, it wasn't much really, but like I put in the book, of probably the worst thing, like I said, some of the things, it's like, it still haunts me, do you know what I mean? Like, I think, how can somebody do that to me? They don't know me. I've had like people throw like urine in my face, you know, like at a gate. Like I said, if gate hadn't been there, you know, I might have never got out of prison because I was so enraged, do you know what I mean? Somebody sort of slide up on me and went, oh, hey mate, and I went, what? They went, oh, you know, just the dirt, you know, oh, he's on that wing for like that. Just like chucked a cuppa just straight in my face. You know, that to me were like low points, you know, like where you think, I just, you know, like I said, it's all that sort of the prison sort of thing. But to me, there were more stuff that happened as well once you get out, and the stigma of it, it sort of goes on. I think I put in the book the first thing when I got out of London, when they acquitted me at the Royal Courts, and I come out, like I said, there were all the drama with the IRA blowing everything up on the way down there, the IRA blowing something up on the day, trying to blow up just that road. That added to it all. You're thinking, Christ, this is all a bit surreal, you know what I mean? Again, you're still only early 20s when you're getting out, so you're still not like some mature, you know, definitely matured going through it. You know, I went in a boy, come out a man, definitely. But, you know, again, it added to the drama. But like I said in the book, coming back I went straight, you know, if people think, well, what did you do? The first thing I did was went to the newspaper. I went straight to the Wakefield Express where I'd had this thing ripped out, and I thought, right, as soon as I get out of here, I'm going to speak to you, mate, what you put in paper. You know, and I went straight to speak to him. He wasn't there, nobody were there. This little old woman pressing the buzzer, she's come there, what's it about? Told her, oh, it's about, you know, just been acquitted for rape in London, and I want to speak to this journalist. Oh, yeah, I'll go see if he's about. And just like disappeared. 10 minutes, you sort of been polite. 15 minutes, you're thinking, ring it buzzer again. 20 minutes later, I'm thinking, you know, I'm sort of like leaning over a bit and going, hello, is anybody there? You know, and 25 minutes later, I'm thinking, she's just like gone it back and shut the centre away and thought. And I remember sort of coming out back onto High Street and thinking, this ain't over. This is not over. This could just be beginning. Like this, that what first sort of outside reaction I got when I thought the stigma of that word's just hit me. And again, like I said, there's been points in my life where it's just come and just crashed back into my life, and you think, will it ever like leave completely? I don't know. I guess I didn't bother wanting it to leave now because I thought, right, I'm going to put it out in my own way so that if anybody's got any doubts, get that read. You know, don't like say sly things online to me, or don't put little comments, or don't gossip about me. If you've got something to say to me, say it to my face. I won't bite your head off. If you've got a question for me, I might be passionate about how I answer you, but I'm not I'm not some nutter that's just, you know, like I said, I've been through it, but, you know, to me, I rehabilitated myself the first time I went in prison, which was what annoyed me even more because I'd already done what the prison wanted you to do and rehabilitate yourself. I didn't come out. I've never robbed anybody again from being 17 and going in prison at 18. I've never committed that crime ever again. So I guess I learned my lesson and wanted to do something better with myself. And then as soon as I'd like decided that and done all the hard work in prison on the first time to come out and think, right, I am capable of moving on. I don't need to do this. I made a big mistake. Then bang, back in, chuck straight in with the Lions. Yeah. I sometimes go off on one, Donna, because like I said, there's that much to it. It's so complicated, some of it, and the emotions with it, you know, like I said, I have to stop myself just to, if it sounds like I've just forgot what I'm saying, it's not. I just have to sometimes stop because I can just ramble on about it, really. But I'm not, it's, you know, I put myself down saying I'm rambling. It's not rambling. You know, I'm coherent. I know what I'm saying. It's not that, you know, I can back up all the facts, and I've got all the facts. Luckily, I've got all the facts. And like I said, my barrister who defended me, it was useless. But again, I think there were other things going on behind the scenes. And but he's now a Crown Court judge, you know what I mean? And he spoke to me, and like he said, he's only had 2 proper miscarriages of justice in all his career as a long barrister and now a judge at Leeds Crown Court. And I'm one of his miscarriages of justice. So, you know, I don't really need much more than people like Lord Stoughton saying there's something serious wrong with this case, you're free to go, or like a Crown Court judge saying you've definitely had a miscarriage of justice, mate. You know, I don't know what we can do to help you, but, you know, in my opinion, this is, like I said, it's not just a black and white with a bit of grey. What's gone on? It's well, you've read it yourself. You've just read it. You can't understand how it can happen. But I guess any miscarriage of justice is like that. You think, how do these things happen? The law sometimes totally backfires. It's as a meltdown, and innocent people get like just sucked into it. And you know, they need to. I don't know how to stop it happening. Like I say, they in their sort of view, whoever they are, but in their type of view, the authorities, they'll say, well, it doesn't happen that much. The system works in general. fair enough, the system works in general, but for them people that want to make that big, broad, sweeping statement, let them go in prison then with a rape charge. Let them go away from the family. Let them live in prison in absolute squalor, in dungeons. I've been in some horrible, horrible places, and you think, it's bad enough if you'd have done something and you maybe deserved it, but even under them conditions, you still think, this is pretty terrible. It's pretty bad, this. Even though I deserve it, it's pretty bad. But when you don't deserve it and you're in them conditions and you're under that sort of scrutiny and you're under that sort of stress levels, and it's serious heavy charges and time, you've got a card, you go back to your door and it says 8 years, 3 months. You think, how am I doing 8 years and 3 months for I don't know. But,
yeah. The thing that strikes me as well is you think, would that happen today? And you think probably, yeah. Nothing really in the time since then. What is it, 1994, wasn't it? Or just around?
Yeah, 94 to 96, yeah.
And would that happen today? Probably. Even with advances in technology, it's still all down to the...
Well, this is another reason why I put the book there, because I thought if anybody's can find the book who's going through this, and it gives them any sort of light at the end of the tunnel, to think, well, I'm reading about a guy that's been to the bottom and somehow got him sent. Like I said, you could go on to the cancer. I mentioned the cancer in the book. I don't know whether it, attributed to developing that. Do you know what I mean? Because, excuse me, I just think when you're sort of told, they do these experiments with people, don't they? You could take 2 people. It's like a plant, in it. Even just with a plant, they've done it. You can have 2 plants, and somebody can stroke it and say nice things to it, and it'll grow. And you can shout at another plant and say you're rubbish and you're gonna die, and it'll wither away and die. It reacts. Your body reacts. Your mind, your thoughts. And I thought, to me, when, like I said, I'd got myself proper back on my feet when the cancer kicked in. It was just another kick in the teeth. I thought, I really aren't getting... Life just won't seem to let me just get on. It was at that point, I thought, I can't believe this. But I did think it might have had a big part to play in it. The stress of it all. Definitely.
We talk at the end about wanting to set up a charity to help because like you said, when you came out, there weren't cameras, there wasn't a big fuss. Just walked out of the court free, and that was it. And the chances are there are hundreds or thousands of other people going through the same.
All over the world in different prisons, there's somebody sat, there's people, male, female, young kids, whatever, old people. There's people sat there just getting on with the time, thinking, this is just another day and I shouldn't be here, and it just times you just sort of get sucked into the system. You kind of even some probably just accept it and think, well, I ain't done it, but I'm not getting out, so just get on with it. So it the victims of injustice, damage, void were something the reason I'm trying to write, it's sometimes when anybody ever tries to trip me up when I'm trying to develop me writing and make a career and try to make some good money, what the tripping up is me trying to establish things like void. Do you know what I mean? That's how I see them. I think, cheers, this isn't an ego thing for me with the writing. I don't want a Ferrari, maybe I've had a Ferrari, you don't know, do you? Who knows what I've had or what, it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is, I'm trying to do something with the books I'm not just going to sit in this writing bubble forever. I've got things to say. I'm hard working. I'm ready to crack on. I need some help in the industry to move forward, to get to the point where you're making a good living out of it. So then I can then live and also then start pushing some parts of it money wise towards other things that are going to help other people. That's what I want to do. If people want to, like I said, I get loads of support, but there's definitely been a couple of people, and again, it's probably down to this rumour, stigma, whatever you want to call it. People are too quick to judge people, especially with this type of thing. It's like we said before we come on air, how can I, people say, just move on. How can I just say to you flippantly, we're just chatting away, I'm like, oh yeah, oh, I forgot to say, Donna, years ago, we're done for rape, I was convicted of a rape and that, but I didn't do it, and then I got out and I moved on, and you'd be like, you know, you'd want to know, people want to know a bit more. So then I have to start, and then I can't just explain a little bit. So then you start feeling like, so then you open up, and then it's all, you know, before I know it, I'm explaining everything about it. And I think, you know, I'm sick of explaining it. Just go and, you know, like I said, anybody's got any, whatever, you know, not even anybody who's got any problem or any rumor or whatever, anybody that's ever thought, well, I've kind of heard something like that, and I don't know about it, go and read it. But that, you know, that's not the audience I'm looking for. I'm looking for people that are interested in true crime, real life scenarios. You know, it's like some of the people that quote me on my fiction stuff, you know, they've already put on my fiction stuff, you know, I'm like a crime writer, you know. Other crime writers can only dream of like the authenticity of some of the things I've been through. They might read books or go visit some, you know, they might do something, watch a documentary, they might have read a book, they might have even gone and stood outside of prison. I've been like in the depths, in the bowels of these places. Do you know what I mean? I know what it's like day to day living in these places, and I know what it's like to sort of crack up in a way. You know, I know what it's like to think, you know, on the verge of maybe wanting to, you know, commit serious crimes. You know, there's no point. Like I said, people might think, oh, you know, you're talking crazy, but you know, the reality of it is, you know, at times going through this, there's times where I thought, you know what, I could murder somebody. You know, you feel like you could murder somebody because your emotions have been, you've been prodded that much. It's a natural, you know, then you reel yourself in and think, Christ, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? Because really, who you were before this is not, you know, you're molded into thinking a different way. And then people kind of take a bit of offense to it if you come across a little bit like a bit raw, you know. You think, I don't know how you'll be if you went through this. I don't know what would be left of your original character if you had to build up this like barrier to get safely through these things where you could be killed and you could be really hurt, you know what I mean? You could be like raped yourself in prison. Imagine that, you know. Imagine like going on, imagine being like, you're having a miscarriage of justice for the rape that you didn't do, and then you've been raped in prison yourself because people think you're a rapist. That's like irony on a high level. I can't, you know, like I said, you can't, it's not me right stuff I'm writing. It's not simple stuff. You know, it needs to be read because people, I think anything that I'm writing, if you're crime writing, I think you'd learn something by reading my things, you know, even if it's not what to do. But I think there's stuff in there that, like I say, you can't learn it. You've got to go through it. So in that sense, I'm glad I'm still here. I'm glad I didn't kill myself. I'm glad I didn't kill someone else. I'm glad I like didn't totally lose the plot. I'm glad I kind of managed to get through it all, stay alive, beat cancer, and carry on writing and try to like keep putting stuff out there that I think people might be interested in the true crime. And then, like I said, when I go to like writing crime fiction, I can, you know, the past then becomes, you know, it's like a toolbox to dip into. You know, it's not an hindrance to me, like where I've always thought in the past, like when I've gone for jobs, I can't get a job. Somebody gives you a list of like, what you've been doing for the past 15 years. I've had my head up my ass. You can't write that down on form, can you? Because they just think, well, I'm not giving you a job, mate. You're like, well, I'm all right, really. I'm an hard-working person. I'm a good guy, really. But yeah, my head's, oh, man, why has your head been up your ass? Well, I got put in prison for rape. Can you imagine trying to fill in an application form as me? Like sometimes in past, it's not easy, you know. Like so, like I said, I think that pushed me to write. I'm going to write. I want to write. I've always loved reading. I've always been creative. You know, I think it's just naturally what I always should have been. But it's just I've had to sort of go through things before it's like, right, this is what I'm going to do. You know, yeah.
So if anyone watching does want to go and get your book, where can they? And then if they want to talk to you about it afterwards, where can they find
Yeah, of course. Like anybody can just, like I said, Dale Brendan Hyde on Facebook. You can just message me. I'll always answer you back. All my stuff's on Amazon. Stitches on Amazon. Paperback, just Kindle at the minute. I'm with a publisher in the Philippines at the minute. I'm trying to move to a publisher in America. I've tried a few sort of British publishing companies, but they're only like the good ones, the top ones, and I've had a few knockbacks. I've just had like Stitched in the Incron in like an acquisition meeting with Adlib, like it used to be John Blake. But again, they thought that they had like 2 or 3 years worth of stuff lined up that was not similar, but in that vein. So they didn't want to sort of they didn't want to go with it. But I ain't had any knockbacks where people saying, look, mate, I'd have a go at driving bus for a living. You're not right, it's not for you. I've had really good, very positive, polite, sorry, it's just not for us. But, we wish you all luck in future, mate, and you'll definitely find someone. There's definitely a lot of stuff, credible stuff in your work, but it's just not for us at this time, or we're busy with stuff, That's all at the minute. So, yeah, just on Amazon. Like I said, I'm with a company in the Philippines at the minute, but I were hoping that I'd open up more of the Asian market, but it's not done. It's not. So, again, I'm not one of these that wants to come on and, yeah, everything's great, everything's doing, reality is best. Like people don't know, if you lie about what level you're at, nobody knows like what level they need to come down to help you, or whether they need to push it up, or whether I can pull somebody up myself, or we're all on different levels in like this writing game, and we're all trying to get to where we can make a living. And like I said, it's important to me to make a living so I can go on and do something else. I'm trying to do documentaries with this Stitch. When you said, I'll just like sort of finish on it, like when you said coming out of the appeal courts at London, you sort of watch these films like In the Name of the Father. You see on the news like the Birmingham 6, the Guildford 4. They come out to all the reporters and all this. When I come out, there were nobody there. There was nothing there at all. I come out and thought, it's just like surreal. It's like, right, just got to find the train home. What's the train times? Got to get the train from London back to Wakefield. So when I've started like sort of writing a bit of a script for it, the start of it is sort of like a big law book just going bang, and all this like dust flies out of it. Like ancient dust flies out. And then it like starts with the music, and then it's like running down the steps, the like wooden steps that you come down, all this faded like green steps at the Royal Courts of Appeal, down to the dungeon, then out. And then there's all the microphone stands there. But again, there's nobody there, but all the microphone stands are there. And then I kind of blast through them all, scatter them all over the shop, as if to say, there should have been reporters here, this should be reported, but there's nobody here. But the symbols are like reporting's there, but there's no physical person to say, what happened, mate? So I smash all that out of the way, run down the steps, and then, like I say, a little bit flash, I like jump in my mate's like right nice Bentley, and he says, where you want to go? And then a bit of dialogue, and we zoom off down the Strand. That's how it starts, like with the documentary, what I've been working on. But yeah, there's all sorts, like I say, it's easy to pick things out of the book, and for if you wanted to find scenes where you want to film things, there's a lot of action that can be found, different things, like I say. Yeah.
Yes, there is, and I could talk to you all night, but unfortunately I can't. So
yeah, I'm the same. Yeah,
I will say thank you very much. And also, as you said, I just literally finished it before we started talking, so I will write my review and share it in my group.
Yeah, I appreciate you reading it. Like I said, it's not an easy book to read, because it can make you angry, like reading it, and it can make you like quite, I don't know, I've had people like say I've been in tears like reading it, and I've been like proper, had to put it down and have a pace about, and but what are books for? We want to open up, I don't want a book that just like you read it, think, oh, that one, oh yeah, what a good story, yeah, oh, there's some good twist plots, yeah, it wasn't bad, what's the next book? I want a book that stays here, if a book don't like hit you proper in your heart or in your brain, then it's not, to me, it's not, yeah, it's a book, but they're not the books that are on my bookshelf. You know what I mean? The things that are on my bookshelves are books that you can read over your lifetime. You'll always be able to pick them up, and there's always something new you'll find in them as well. You know, if there's a depth to them, they should always like offer up some sort of new information as you read along. Next time you read, you think, "Oh, I missed that," or I see it again. Maybe your life's changed, and you can view it in a different way. How you read, you know, like books we read when we're young, innit? You can read them when you're a little bit older, and they totally mean a different thing. So, yeah. But thanks for reading it. Thanks for speaking about it, Donna.
That's all right. It's my pleasure. I'll when I post my review, I'll put the link as well. So if anyone likes the sound of it, then they can just go straight and get it. And thank you.
Thank you. Right. See you later, love.